My guest at this time is a veteran WWE superstar. He's also the current SWE television champion. It is Rodney Mack. Rodney, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Hey, how you doing, Nick, man? And thank you for, having me, my friend.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to talking to you for a while now. We plan to, chase each other's tails here. Finally got it done. And, dude, I'm glad we did because SWE, they sent me this video of you from the last show where there was like what looks to be like this altercation with this fan. Like Charlie kind of playfully pushes the guy tries to throw a punch, and you just level this guy. I mean, it's what happened here? Walk me through this one, Rodney.
Well, man, I don't know. We were just doing our thing out there, and all I knew was, it was just instinct. The guy, I just saw something out of my peripheral vision, and then I just saw Charlie, and then it was just instinct. I just reacted.
Man, is that ever happened to you in your career? Is that something that you've had to become physical with a fan in the past, or no?
Oh, yes, I have quite a few times. Well, I'll say, I guess, maybe 3 or 4 different times that I have.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. Yeah. Wow. Well, you obviously are still very imposing, Rodney. I watched that. I was like, yeah, what a very scary man you are. So in a nice way. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in a nice way.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, Rodney, talk about SWE, man. How did you originally get hooked up with the promotion down there?
Oh, man, goes back with James Beard. James Beard was the guy that originally contacted me. But I've also known Tom for through Rod Price since I actually got into the business and my first trip to Texas. So I met Tom and have worked with Tom Lance, previously before. But yes, James Beard reached out to me and contacted Jazz and myself and told us that he was doing the deal with Tom. And every time James does something, he always involves me, Jazz, and myself. So, we jumped right on it, man, and the rest has been history. I mean, it's grown tremendously. I remember the first show I was with them in Canton, I think. There was only maybe 40 people. Of course, there was only room for that. And then, here it is now. And, we have what we have.
Yeah, and it's thousands of fans, right? I mean, Texas has opened up, so you guys are back at capacity. How does it feel for you having those fans back, Rodney? I mean, obviously wrestling went dark there for a while.
Oh, yes, man. Oh, God, it's a blessing, man. I mean, and for me, it's a dream come true because right now, man, I feel like I finally got my break, myself and Charlie. And, we finally, we just feel that now is the time after all this time. But now is our time to shine.
Yeah.
So it's great being able to, do what we do in front of the people. I mean, there's no other feeling to me.
Yeah. How are you physically feeling right now, holding up wise? What how are you doing these days?
Oh, man, honestly, I feel like I'm 15 years younger, man. I feel fresh again. I've been working out 2-3 times a day. Man, yes, mentally, physically, I feel great.
Yeah, awesome. And, down at SWE, I know Teddy Long is there. You guys obviously have history together. How is it getting to work? You talked about working with Charlie. How is it getting to reconnect and work with Teddy in SWE right now?
Well, really, man, I haven't felt this homely in a locker room ever because, Teddy, God, he's great. He's a great mind. He's a great person. He's always about helping people. He always has been. Maybe that's why he's so successful. He's very giving, but he's so full of knowledge, man, and there's never a dull moment, whether it's good or bad. But no, man, it's great being with Teddy. Like I said, it's such a homely feeling back there. We got guys like Charlie, Boogeyman, and then the older guys, Rod Price, James, Alex Porto. I mean, the list goes on with Jax Dane and those guys. Man, it's like it's a family, and we're all there for one common cause, and that's to be the best that we could possibly be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do have so much knowledge. You, Charlie, Teddy. How is it for you working with these younger wrestlers right now, are you giving advice? Are you helping to agent matches? Like, are you doing things behind the scene, I guess?
Right. Well, my part back there's a little bit of all of the above.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the guy they go to, kind of the bouncer in the back for for that purpose. And just for a lot of other reasons, they come for me for advice, for guidance on different things. And I'm also the head of the Dog Pound Training Center, which is the official school for SWE. So from the camps to the wrestling schools, in which we're very thankful, and we've grown to where, man, places like Austin, AAPW, Lions Den, those guys, they send us a lot of their students as well. So we get to work with those guys, and just a abundance of talent around Texas. Not only Texas, now it's been throughout the United States. We've got guys coming in from Kansas, Chicago, Jersey, and those guys keep up with me. They send me film and whatnot. So I'm always on the phone helping those guys out when they're not with us. So we kind of train them as well, all around the clock.
When talent comes to you and they say, my goal is to get to WWE or at AEW, what kind of advice are you giving to talent right now? I mean, it's a very fertile time for wrestling, but there's a lot going on.
Well, I really don't. My advice is to be the best you can at what you do, and then the rest kind of falls in place. Always make sure that you dot all your I's and cross your T's. A lot of the guys, they see the big picture, but they're not seeing how to get there. So what I try to do is help polish them up, whether it be sending them, giving them advice, or promos or what I see, and if I can't help them, then I send them somewhere or to someone who can. But that's my advice is to make sure, you guys master where you are, master your craft on that level before you just go up and want to try out to a WWE or AEW or any other company on that level.
It's got to. How different is training in the business now than when you were breaking in, Rodney?
Well, for one, there are a whole lot more opportunities and places to get a lot more knowledge. I don't say a lot more, and yes, there is a lot more knowledge out there on just scientific wrestling in general, just on everything. There's access. You can hit a button and Google anything you want. And back in the day, you almost had to be handpicked in order to get in. And not almost, you had to be handpicked to get in that circle in order to be coached or that advice shared to you.
Gotcha.
And so, that's a big advantage. And I mean, the gyms, the facilities and places that they have to train in. We trained in barns. We trained in the park at midnight on the grass. We trained in horse stables on the concrete. And that's real talk. Well, these guys got 4 and 5 rings with air conditions and, all the knowledge there, nutritionists, dietitians, and the whole 9 yards. And we didn't have that.
Yeah. So who broke you in, Rodney? You say
I started off with Skandar Akbar, JYD, that group. JYD took me in first, yes, sir, with Akbar, and then Rod Price finished me up.
What was it like to be trained by Junkyard? I didn't know that.
Man, your words, man, it's a dream come true. Because growing up, there's my principals in high school from elementary, from first grade on up, can tell you stories about me running around headbutting people and howling and being, junkyard dog, right? Yeah. So that was a dream come true for me.
Dude, so I mean, what was? I've never really met anybody who was trained by Junkyard. Like, was he?
Honestly, Jazz and I are the only two that I know that finished. There was a couple other guys in the group with us, but there aren't too many more that I maybe one other guy. But no one trained at that school that I know of that made it, and he'd never really ever mentioned anyone else that he trained, not to my knowledge.
Yeah, that's really unique when you said that. I mean, was he tough? Was he fair?
I think it was a little bit of everything. He was tough, but Dog was never really, stayed still. He always was on the go, and I think it was a lot of that. And also, it was tough training with him. Yes, it was, because he used to take you out. You wouldn't get in the ring for a long time, And Jazz can tell you more of the stories of that than I can. But he would take us down the street and he'd run you around the block, and take you to the park and run till you pass out, that kind of stuff. He was hard on conditioning. That's before you ever saw the inside of the gym.
Damn. So wait, Jay, you mentioned Jazz was trying. So is that? I mean, you two are obviously married. You've been together for decades now. At this point, like, is that
That's
where
how we met. That's
you,
exactly how we met, through school with JYD. Yeah.
wow. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, congratulations. I mean, probably one of the more successful wrestling marriages in all of history. I mean, you guys.
You're right, and honestly, I've did some research on it, and I've looked up. There's never been a couple that started together like Jazz and I have, and that were both wrestlers, and are still together, and that long.
Man, that's so cool, man. Good for
Yeah.
you. And so
We're blessed, man.
yeah. So like, and I'm a big Jazz fan, by the way, too. Incredible,
Thank
but.
you, thank you.
But with you, you had such an interesting path. I really, every time I get to talk to, anyone, I always like to try to do a little bit of research and stuff. And like, obviously breaking in there with JYD, like, but, I saw you did like about a year there at ECW or less, like with the Baldies there.
Right.
What was it? Was that like your first big break? Like, what was it like working for Paul in ECW at that time?
Yes, before then I had wrestled here in Texas for the NWA. I was NWA Texas champion, NWA Southwest Texas champion, and then from there I went on and wrestled with ECW. But yeah, it was a whole nother level, a whole nother monster, different styles. Just yeah, it was very 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 educational. You know what I mean? Because I was up there with guys, oh my God, the list goes on and on, from Paulie himself to Sabu and, Rod and, oh my God, Taz and Tommy Dreamer. And right, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
New Jack, those guys took me under their wings and really, really, helped me a lot, man.
What was it like working for Paul Heyman at that kind of point? Because like ECW was really big right then.
Yes, it was like, wow, just watching Paul do his thing, him walk around and just the way he look at everybody and watching him watch his product and he could just look at a guy and come up with something just that quick. And it was just intriguing how he can walk like the guy, talk like the guy, and be that guy. He used to kill me just listening to him be me, trying to tell me, oh, Red Dog, you know what I mean? And speaking in, yeah, it was just wow, because Paul's a genius, man. And he could just see and look at anybody and anything and just like that, see the good in it and only utilize that in the show and never expose the weakness in the person. I learned so much, yes, like I said, from styles to just being able to sit back at the time and learn from all the different guys like Sid Vicious and like I said, man, the list goes on and on.
Man, dude. So after that, then like at some point you get on WWE's radar. So how does the pivot there happen between ECW to WWF at the time?
Well, that's right after ECW folded or got bought out.
Yeah.
I came back to Texas. Jazz and I came back to Texas and got back on the indie scene. And I once again Paul reached out.
Oh.
And reached out to Jazz and made a call. And I think Jazz went down to OVW. And then she was there for a few weeks and she called me up and said, I think you need to come down here. And I had no intention on going. I was happy here. At the time I was working for PCW, Indies, of course, having a blast and running a school there. And Jazz went in and she was like, you need to come here now, because I think you have a great opportunity to fit right in with these guys. So one thing led to another, and I went down there and had a little tryout. I think honestly what got me to go is she was in the drills with the guys, Randy Orton, John Cena, and Shelton and them at the time.
Okay.
And I think they were doing the heat drill, and she got a little steam on Cena. And he got a little hot. Yeah. So she made a call, and I was like, okay, and I'll be down there. That's how I got down there. And
wait, time out real quick. So just for those that don't know, I hate to cut you off, but what is a steam drill, and what does it mean that she got John Cena hot? Like, what is that?
well, no, we were doing. I think they were doing a heat drill.
Heat drill.
Doing some heat drills, putting heat on each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think she got, she impressed everybody, and I think John Cena was one of the guys that she did the drill on, and I think it surprised him, and he maybe put a little heat on her.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the call, and I was like, okay, well, let me come down there and see him. So that's how I really got down there.
Okay, and you wound up working with Cena then, like in.
Oh, great guy. Yeah, we had a blast together. Yeah, man, him and Shelton, and like I said, all the guys, Batista, man, Brock was there. Yeah, Shelton, Charlie, those guys. So that whole flock, we were all down there together.
Dude, that was OVW, right? Like
yes, sir.
That magical OVW class where everybody just came
That's
out.
right. We were all there. Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude. Did you know, kind of being in that bubble, that there was something special going on, and this wasn't just like a normal?
Well, you knew it was something special. You just didn't know how special. I had no idea. But when you walked in there was nothing but studs. They all, yeah. I mean, you just looked around, and having played college football, you know what I mean? I've been around a different level of guys, SEC and all that. So you used to seeing studs. And when I walked in there, right, it was like, oh my God, yeah. You knew, yeah.
Yeah, you had to know. Like, so
yeah, you had to raise your level just to step that other foot in the door.
Yeah. So how did the pairing with Cena come about? Who's
I guess one thing led to another. Us working each other in the, we worked each other in OVW a lot, for Rip Rogers, and I guess things went well. So we gelled together, working against each other, and I don't know how that opportunity came for us to work with and tag with one another. I'm not quite sure. I think that was Paul's idea.
Okay, cool.
Don't quote me on that. I think.
Okay, well, we'll let Conrad figure that out sometime later on a podcast or something. So after Cena, though, yeah, you're working with Teddy, the White Boy Challenge, which was so much fun to look back on there. How was it working with Teddy during that run after?
It was great, man. I learned so much. Again, I learned a lot with Teddy. You learn a little bit of everything with a guy like that, because he's done a little bit of everything. Yeah, actually, he's done a lot of everything. But he taught me what like being a manager was. All I had to do really was show up, make sure I had my mind right, work out. Teddy took care of everything from the travel wise, took all that stuff off my head, and I just had to be there. He was great,
Yeah, and that was a great run for you. I believe Teddy told me one time that I think he said to me it was his idea. The White Boy Challenge thing was that he took to Vince or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, regardless, that had to be really fun there, man. I mean, did you enjoy getting the White Boy Challenge? Like, any memories of that period there for you?
Oh, yes. Oh, man, I mean, it was a blast, but at the same time, it was so much hard work, because, man, the tempo and the pace, I had to rock and roll, the whole time, nonstop, 5 minutes of straight funk. But it was great, man. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was great working with all those young guys, the new guys, and I actually ended up making some good friends and with those guys, and giving them opportunities and helped them. A few of them got hired,
wow,
from doing that.
That's awesome. How was working with Vince? Did Vince what did Vince think of the White Boy Challenge and everything? Did he ever try to produce or, anything like that with you?
I really, didn't speak a lot with Vince, just up and down, the halls of hello and goodbye, but I never really had conversations with Vince that much. The few that I had, everything was great,
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so obviously, like your streak ends by a guy who's known for another streak in Goldberg, right? So how was that getting to work with Goldberg there?
Oh, it was great, man. Bill's a good guy. I remember I was one of the first guys that he ever met coming through the locker rooms in WWF. We just hit it off right off the bat, but it's real easy to hit it off with Bill. He's a great guy. He didn't really want to do it at the time. But I was like, well, I mean, he was like, I wouldn't do it. And I'm like, well, that's you. I can't, I'm not in position to, I had to say that. But no, he stood up for me and wanted me around a lot, you know. And I have nothing but great things to say about him. I wish we could have worked an angle in the program together, because I really think that he and I could have drew some money together.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. So, like, wait, he didn't want to end your streak? He was like, no, why would I do?
No, he didn't.
Huh.
No.
Wow.
He was like, there's no reason. It's like,
Yeah.
why? There's no reason.
Yeah, well, that was kind of, you know, that's once the streak's over, it's over. And, you know,
Yeah.
So, because like Goldberg gets a lot of like heat from like internet wrestling fans and stuff these days. Like, I feel like
No, that's straight up. Bill said that to me. Yeah, and I was in shock, because I'm like, well, shit. You know, he could say that, but it's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, I wouldn't do it.
So why did it wrap up in 2004 for you then with the company? What led to you kind of exiting?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, I said, well, what led to you kind of leaving the company then in 2004? Like, why did you feel that run ended?
I have no idea still to this day. I
Really?
mean, like, no, Jazz and I both were told, man, by, I think it was Stephanie. No, I know it was Stephanie Hall, pulled us on the side and said that we had a job for life, that we were great to be around, and we were the two most believable people on the roster and all that stuff.
Steph told you a job for life? Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that hurt.
And I think it was 3 weeks later or a month or something like that. Not precise, I'm not sure. That we got fired on the same day. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think it was right before my birthday.
Wow, dude. Wow. That's really shitty, dude. That sucks. But I mean, like, you've stayed in the business, right? I mean, you came back there for a little bit, part of the weirdly enough, like part of their ECW brand, which had to be, I mean, nothing like the original ECW, I'm sure, when you came back and did that, right?
Right.
Yeah. I wanted to real quickly here ask you about Mark Henry. He's or no, not about Mark Henry. Because he's no longer with SWE, right? He just jumped to AEW. But what was it like to work with Mark, and what do you think about him kind of making the leap to AEW these days?
Well, man, first of all, I love Mark, man. I don't know anybody can say anything bad about Morgan. That's one of the greatest guys you're gonna meet in the world. You're the nicest guy. Always got a joke. You always know where the good food's at. Yeah. No, man, Mark was a great guy. I love Mark. And about him jump, man, that's just business, you know. Whatever it is, I don't know why. I really don't. It doesn't concern me, and I don't think he left on no bad terms. But whatever it is, it was all business. I'm sure, you know. But Mark's a great guy, and he did great for SW.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice for SWE to have him there, I'm sure, is like another pipeline, you know, into a major promotion.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
And then also, man, he was always willing to share knowledge. You know, he always had something good to say, and always tried to help each and every person he ran across. You know, he was always helping the youth.
Yeah, for sure. What do you watch AEW? Like, what do you think of the product they're putting out right now?
Honestly, I don't really watch it much. Every now and then I try to glimpse at it, because some of my guys and girls actually from the dog pound are on there. So I the product, man, I don't want, you know, it's not my style. I can't knock it, because to each their own. Guys go out there, they bust their ass. I mean, and they're drawing. I mean, you know, but it's just not my flavor. But to each their own, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what about WWE, man? Do you still have any contact with them, or have there been any?
No, I had never made contact with them again since from the last time that, you know, they released us. No.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I had no. I hadn't had any wish or want to work for them then, and I still don't know.
Okay, and was there something that made you? Was there like? Is it just because you were told I have a job for life, and then like?
Well, yeah. I mean, you just. I mean, you know, because you know, that's kind of deep. I don't really like to talk about it because I get emotional. You know.
Yeah, I'm guessing something then did happen that made you not want to work for the company anymore. I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, they just basically shit on us.
Yeah, I mean publicly or. privately?
Nah, they just, I mean, bro, fire us for nothing after just for no reason whatsoever, and still not. For me, this shit wasn't just a over the night accomplishment. This is a lifelong dream for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and you showed up and you did. I mean, like, we just said, part of this epic class and performers, and you obviously had huge memorable moments and worked with big stars and stuff. I could see why you would be upset. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, and Jazz is an absolute legend for as a women's division wrestler as well. So
Right.
Anyway, well, Rodney, I'll wrap it up here by saying or asking you, what do you have left? Like, you obviously are TV champion right now in SWE. I mean, what do you want to still do? What do you hope to give back? Like, what do you want to do?
Always trying to give back, man, through the school and helping out each and every way I can with SWE. But I still got a lot left in the tank, and I ain't finished writing my book.
Good, brother.
Yes.
Hey, where can people support you? Is there a place you want to send them online or anything like that?
Dog Pound Dojo, man, or they can catch me, on Facebook, Rodney Begno, SWE.com, dogpounddojo.com.
Cool. All right. Hey, thank you so much, Rodney. This was a wonderful talk. We're going to release this tomorrow or Friday, and I'll make sure to let you and Tom know all the links and everything when it comes.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys for having us, man, and keep watching SWE, baby. Privilege.